So, we're going to talk about the vectors and vector spaces. In line with it, we're going to discuss first the vectors in a plane. So, when we say vectors in a plane, it is the quantity that has both magnitude and direction. When we say magnitude, it is the length. It is the length of the vector. So, vector in a plane, it is represented by directed line segment and each endpoint called initial point and terminal point. So, this is the line segment. So, this is the initial point, and this is the terminal point. So, if the initial and terminal point are the same, they are called as zero vector and denoted as 0. So, for example, let P is 6 and 8, then Q is 6 and 8. So, they are the same. So, i-graph natin ngayon. So, 6 and 8, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 8, dito siya. As well as dito din sa Q, 6 and 8. So, may kita natin na denoted as 0 na siya kasi wala siyang magnitude tsaka wala rin siyang direction. So, pag ganyan yung nangyari, ibig sabihin niyan, denoted na siya as 0 na. Yan. So, equivalent vectors, if the magnitude and the direction are the same, they are called equivalent vectors. Even kahit magkaiba sila ng initial point, ano pa rin sila? Equivalent vectors pa rin sila kasi pares pa rin sila ng direction tsaka magnitude. So, for example, let P is 6 and 8 and Q is 4 and 8. So, as you can see, magkaiba sila ng initial point. Pero pares sila ng terminal point. So, i-graph natin siya. So, sa P, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, dito then 8. Dito na siya. While dito naman sa Q is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then 8. So, yan. So, may kita natin na same pa rin sila ng magnitude tsaka direction kasi iisang line up lang naman din sila. So, equivalent vectors pa rin yung tawag sa kanila. Magnitude vector, so it is the length of a vector and it is denoted as magnitude V. So, for the formula, for dimension, this is the formula, magnitude V is equals to 1 squared plus a sub 2 squared. While in 3-dimensional, this is the formula, magnitude V is equals to square root of a sub 1 squared plus a sub 2 squared plus a sub 3 squared. For arbitrary dimension, so magnitude V is equals to square root of a sub 1 squared plus a sub 2 squared plus a sub 3 squared plus a sub 4 squared. Yan. Example, magnitude of B is equals to component of 3, 1, and negative 2. So, as you can see, they use the 3-dimensional, so the formula is magnitude of B is equals to a sub 1 squared plus a sub 2 squared plus a sub 3 squared. So, i-substitute lang natin siya. So, 3 squared plus 1 squared plus negative 2 squared. So, yan. I-simplify na natin. Dire-diretso na natin to. So, 3 squared is equals to 9. 1 squared is equals to 1. And negative 2 squared is equals to positive 4. Yan. So, the magnitude B is equals to square root of 14. So, di naman natin siya may square. So, ito na yung final answer.
Properties of vector addition and scalar multiplication. And for all vectors U, V, and W, ito yung pinag-a-add at pinagsasubtract. And for all scalars B and C, ito naman yung minomultiply. Like U plus V is equal to V plus u. And u plus the quantity of v plus w is equal to the quantity of u plus v plus w. And v plus 0 is equal to v. And 1 times v is equal to v. And 0 times v is equal to 0. Kasi kahit anong number is multiply sa 0 is equal to 0. And v plus the quantity of negative v is equal to 0. And b, the quantity of c, v is equal to c, bc, v. And the quantity b plus c, v is equal to b, v plus c. And b, the quantity of u plus v is equal to bu plus bv.
For the combining vectors, we will add or subtract the corresponding components. So let's define first what is scalar multiplication and make an example. Yung scalar multiplication, it has magnitude only. Unlike sa vectors, meron siyang magnitude tsaka direction. So, dito sa scalar multiplication is to multiply a vector by scalar, multiply each component by the scalar. So, yung formula ng scalar multiplication ay vector sub u is equals to u sub 1 and u sub 2. So, let's try some example. Let vector sub u is equals to 2 and 5 and find 3 vectors of u. Vectors of u is equals to, lagay natin yung 3 and substitute natin yung given sa formula. Yung u sub 1 is 2 and u sub 2 is 5. 3 times 2, 6, and 3 times 5 is 15. So, ang ating 3 vectors of u is 6 and 15. Ngayon naman, gawin natin silang, ilagay naman natin sila sa graph. Yung given natin is 2, 5. So, yung 2 is nasa x-axis, and yung 5 is nasa y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lagyan natin ng dots. And dito yung origin natin, 0. So, yung nahanap natin sa hinahanap na 3 vectors of u is 6, 15. So, yung x is 6. And yung y is 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So, nag-times siya for 3 times. So, that is scalar multiplication. For vector addition, it is the sum of vector of u and vector of v. So, this is the formula of vector addition. Vector of u plus vector of v is equals to u sub 1 plus v sub 1 and u sub 2 plus v sub 2. So, let's do example. If vectors of u is equals to 5, 6, and vectors of v is equals to 8 and negative 1, isosolve natin yan using the formula. Vectors of u plus vectors of v is equals to, so substitute natin itong formula na to sa given corresponding components. So, yung u sub 1 natin is 5 plus yung v sub 1 natin is 8 and u sub 2 is 6 and plus v sub 2 is negative 1 equals to 5 plus 8, 13 and 6 plus negative 1 is positive, 5. Yan. So, yung vectors of u plus vectors of v natin ay 13 and 5. Ngayon naman, i-graph natin ito, yung vectors of u at vectors of v at saka yung equivalent nung pag inad natin yung dalawa. 5, 6, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For y-axis, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Dito siya. That's, and ang origin natin is dito ulit sa 0. Line natin siya papunta doon. So, that's Ngayon naman yung vector of B, 8 and negative 1. So, yung 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, negative 1, dito sa baba, negative 1. So, yung dots is nasa dito. Mag-start ulit sa origin, papunta dun sa dots. Yan. Ngayon naman, meron na tayong 2 vectors or 2 lines. Ngayon, kukunin natin yung pag pinag-add itong dalawang to. 13 and 5. So, ang tawag dito sa 13 and 5 na to is resultants. Resultants. 13 and 5, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 5. 5 dito. Ito yung dots. Yan, and then origin ulit. This is a sample of diagonal. So, yung measurement nito is katumbas lang ng measurement dito. And yung measurement naman dito is katumbas lang ng measure dito. So, parallelogram sila and parallelogram naman ito. So, that is vector addition. Vector subtraction is defined as the difference of vectors of U and vectors of B. So, this is the formula of vector subtraction. So, vectors of U minus vectors of B is equals to U sub 1 minus B sub 1 and U sub 2 minus B sub 2. Same as vectors addition lang, kaso nagbago lang ng sign na minus. So, itong formula na to, same as sa formula na ito. Vectors of U plus, parenthesis negative, vectors of B. So, itong part na to, ginamitan siya ng scalar multiplication. For example, if vectors of U is equals 5 and 6, and vectors B is equals to 8 and negative 1. Solve natin gamit yung formula. Unahin na natin itong isolve. Itong scalar multiplication na to. So, negative B, same as negative 1B. Diba? So, negative 1 and the value of vectors B, 8 and negative 1 is equals to negative 8. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So, substitute natin yan. U sub 1 is 5 plus B sub 1 is negative 8 and U sub 2 is 6 plus B sub 2 is 1 equals 5 plus negative 8 is negative 3 and 6 plus 1 is 7. So, ito ngayon ang ating difference ng U sub B and U sub U or the resultants. Ngayon, i-graph naman natin ito at itong dalawang given na ito. So, for the vectors of U, it's 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 naman. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, lagyan natin ng dots for palatandaan. Then, sa origin, papunta dun sa dots. Lagyan ng arrow. Para naman sa vectors of B, 8 and negative 1, 5, 6, 7, 8 is negative 1. Ayan. Ngayon naman, ilagay natin yung resultants. So, ang hinahanap naman dito sa difference is the difference na ito, part na to. Yan. Ngayon, hanapin natin, i-graph natin itong resultants na negative 3 and 7. 1, 2, 3, negative 3, and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yan. Mula dito sa origin, papunta dito. So, ibig sabihin, itong measure na ito is same sa measure dito. Nakukuha po ba? So, yan yung vector subtraction. So, now, for the unit vectors, it is a vector of length 1. So, yung result lagi is always 1 kapag nag-checking or nag-proof. Sometimes also called the direction vector. So, yung formula ng unit vectors is equals to A over magnitude of A. So, gagamit tayo ng magnitude. So, example, A is equals to 2 and 3. So, yung A natin ay 2 and 3. And using the formula, isa-substitute natin yung 2 and 3 sa A. Para makuha yung magnitude of A, ima-magnitude natin yung 2 and 3. So, using Pythagorean theorem. So, as magnitude of A is equals to square root of 2 raised to 2 plus 3 raised to 2. So, equals to square root of 2 times 2, 4 plus 3 times 3, 9 equals 4 plus 9 is 13, square root of 13. So, may value na tayo ng magnitude of A. Square root of 13. Ngayon, i-distribute natin isa-isa. 2 over square root of 13 and 3 over square root of 13. Meron na tayong unit vector. So, ngayon, ipo-prove natin siya. Itong result na to, ipo-prove natin siya na maging 1. For proof, magnitude of unit vector equals to 2 over square root of 13 plus 3 over square root of 13 equals square root of 2 times 2 is 4. Square root of 13 times square root of 13 is 13 kasi maka-cancel plus 3 times 3, 9 over 13. I-divide natin ito. 4 divided by 13 is 0.31 plus 9 divided by 13 is 0.69. So, pag pinag-plus mo sila, square root of 1 ang kakalabasan. And then, square root of 1 is 1. So, ang magnitude of unit vector natin is 1. So, tama. Dahil ang length lagi ng unit vector is 1.
Forces in equilibrium. When several forces act through the same point on an object, their vector sum must be 0 in order for a balance to occur. Example is, let's take this graph as an example. So, this one will serve as the force 1 and this will be the force 2. In this problem, we will find the R. So, in this x and y, let's treat this as, consider as this as Rx and Ry. So, let's assume that the value of force 1 will be 55, then the value of force 2 will be 60. So, before we get the value of this R, let's value of this Rx and Ry. In getting the Rx value, let's compute first the value of this using this formula. So with the use of these formulas, we got the value of Rx, which is 57.5, and the Ry is 51.96. So let's get the value of r. So with the use of this formula, we will solve it. So with the use of this formula, we will just distribute the value of Rx, which is 57.5, times itself. Next is the Ry. Distribute the value itself, 51.6 times the value itself. So we will get the answer as we evaluate all using the solution, this answer. That's it. Angle between vectors. The angle between two vectors is the angle between their tails. It can be found either by using the dot product or the cross product. So the dot product is the other term for the scalar product, which has the solution of this. And the cross product is the other term of vector product with the solution formula of this. So as an example, we will use the scalar product solution. So this will serve as our formula. Using this formula, for example, the given are this: -2, 3 for the and the letter B will be 4 and 3. So first, we will solve for this. The value of A times B, it will be -2. Multiply this x of both sides, which is 2 and 4. It will be like this. Then add the value of y, the y term. Let's mark it as x and y. So multiply the y term of the other side, which is 3 and 3. Okay. Times 4, 8 plus 9. Oh, my bad. Well, the answer will be +1. Next, we will solve for the magnitude A and magnitude B. So the solution is, wait. Okay, so that we can get the value of the magnitude A, just get the square root of its given, which is this 2 and 3. So in order for us to get the value of magnitude A, we will use this formula in which you will multiply to itself, then add. So it's same as the magnitude of B. So in magnitude A, the value is square root of 13. It is square root of 13 because it cannot be squared. Next, the magnitude B, the value is 5. Since 25, as you add this and get the square root, it has a square root of 5. Answer is 5. So we'll use what we had solved earlier. So we got the answer of this is equal to 1. Then this one is 1. Okay, let's just transfer it into 1 over 5. Ano? Square root of 13 and 5. So that we can find the data, solve for the data, we will use this formula, cosine 1, then 1 over, let's just put this into here, 5, 13. It's just the same. So use calculator, then you'll find this Answer 86.82 degree. So this is the final answer.
For the application, find the unit vector u with the same direction as v is equals to negative 15, 8. So, since ito na po yung, yung formula para sa unit vector. And since andito na yung value ng v, ika-copy paste na lang natin. 15, tapos 8. Tapos, kailangan natin hanapin yung, ano nga to? Kailangan natin hanapin yung value ng magnitude. So, para makuha yung value nito, ito yung formula para sa magnitude. So, V1 is negative 15 and V2 is 8. So, solve natin. Negative 15 square root 2 plus 8 square root of raised to 2 pala. So, yun. Negative 15 is 225 plus square 8 raised to 2 is 64. So equals to square root of 289, or para maging whole number lang siya, it's 17. So, ito na yung magiging denominator natin dito. Ito na yung value ng magnitude. So, yun. For the unit, ang final answer is negative 15 over 17 at saka 8 over 17. So, para ma-proof natin to, so for the proving, dapat yung magiging equal nun is 1. So, sa proving is square root of ito, yung V1 ay ito, negative 15 over 17. So, parang yung sa Pythagorean theorem, ito rin, parang ganito lang din yung ginawa natin, pero ito naka-fraction na siya. Kasi ito na yung ginamit natin. Ito na yung ipoprove natin. Plus 8 over 17 raised to 2. So, yung equal na ito, pag sa decimal point is 0.7785467128 plus yung value nito, which is 0.2214532872. So, pag pinag-add mo silang dalawa, yung makukuha mong result is 1. So, na-prove mo na yung sagot natin dito is tama. What is the position vector of particle that is in place negative 2, negative 5? So, let's say this is the x, tapos ito yung y. So, magra-graph tayo. So, di ba sa graph ito yung x, tapos ito yung y. So, since ito yung x, 1, 2. So, di ba sa graph, ditong side yung negative, tapos yung sa x ditong side yung negative, tapos dito yung positive. And dito naman sa y, dito sa baba yung negative, tapos dito yung positive. So, since parehas silang negative, nandito tayo sa left na side. So, x is negative 2, which is ito, negative 2. Tapos hanapin mo lang yung sa y. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, ito yung negative 5. So, para mag-graph siya, kailangan yung point neto, tas yung point dito nag-meet. Yan. So, ganito lang siya i-graph. V is equals to negative 2, 5, and U is equals to 3, 7. So, first, we will going to find U minus V. So, di ba nandito naman na yung given? Ikakopy lang natin. 3, 7, minus negative 2, 5. So, sabihin natin ito yung x1, x2, y1, y2. So, una is kukunin, ito muna yung iaano natin. Pagsasubtract natin. 3 minus negative 2 Tapos, 7 minus 5. So, yun. 3 minus negative 2 is equals to 5. Magiging positive na siya kasi negative. And 7 minus 7, positive 7, tas positive 5 is 2. So, ito na siya. So, next is, for letter B is U, which is 3 and 7, minus 6. Tas yung value ng V, which is 2 at saka 5. So, yun. Baba lang natin to. Tapos, solve natin to. So, 3 times 6. So, guys, parang ano lang yan. Quantity lang yan. Ganun. Inartihan lang. So, negative 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Negative times negative, positive pala. Positive 12. Tapos, 6 times 5 is 30. Negative 30. So, ito, minus. So, 3 minus 12. Katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, magiging ganito siya. 3 minus 12. Tapos, 7 minus negative 30. So, 3 minus 12 is 9. Tapos, 7 minus negative 30 is positive 37. So, ito lang siya. That's all.